Hey gang, hey songwriters, I hope you're all doing okay, that you've had a good Mother's Day. Respect and love to all the mummies in the world, you're doing an amazing job. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and if you're new, welcome. Each week I set a weekly challenge for 2023, a songwriting challenge, a topic, a subject, something to challenge or something to hopefully promote and provoke your creative juices and your songwriting for the week ahead. I also am here for any kind of producing or recording or one-to-one tutorials or workshops if you'd like that too. Last week's challenge I set was songwriting inspired by a beat, and you girls and guys came up with some really interesting songs. It's not too late to write that song if you want to, upload it to YouTube as you do each week, and then you can put the comment in this video, put the link to your video in this comment, and I'll make a playlist. Each week has a playlist, so you might dip in and out, it's up to you, but thank you for joining me on this. This week's challenge is about narrative songwriting, and it's something which is very obvious in folk music and country music. Those cats have great ways of telling stories in their songs. The country music in particular is, you know, so many great stories and tales. Off the top of my head, Copperhead Road by Steve Earle is one of those examples, a narrative in a song. Whether that's a true story or not, I don't know, but it's a really engaging story. And actually narrative songwriting is one of my weak points. I tend to sort of sing from my own heart or my own feelings. I've written, I think, maybe just one song that our band, The Gravity Drive, released on an unplugged EP called Breakheart Hill, which was inspired by a couple of people that tragically lost their lives at a place called Breakheart Hill, which seemed to me to be like poetically tragic. So I wrote a kind of narrative-based song on that. But as I said, country and folk music are full of like songs which tell stories. This is different from the challenge we had where you were writing a song inspired by a book, because that was a specific book. But this week's aim is to write a narrative song. Now, some of you may already do this very well. If we think about mainstream pop writers, Chris Difford and Glenn Tilbrook from Squeeze are excellent at doing this. Chris Difford writes the lyrics, and he's a brilliant narrative songwriter. So check out their hits, At the Junction being one of those songs, which is very, very good at that. There's a song called 1952 Vincent, what's it called? By Richard Thompson, 1952 Vincent Black Lightning, I think it's called. Song about which is the name of a motorbike, but it's a lovely narrative song about a couple and the motorbike. Check that out, it's brilliant, it's gorgeous. Paul McCartney does this all the time. Eleanor Rigby is a great example of this. She's Leaving Home is a great example of this. Rocky Raccoon, Maxwell Silverhammer, controversial song in the Beatles kind of history if you're a Beatles fan, but very, very good at coming up with a story or a narrative or telling a story through songs. The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel is another great example of narrative songwriting. So this is this week's challenge. It's less about the I and the me, and it's more, unless you're going to sort of talk as if you're the character in this narrative, there might be a story that, you know, you might have a tale or a story, you might know a story about some friends or within your family. Maybe you could go back into your family history, or you might just make a story up, a narrative up. But we're going to explore that this week. A song which sort of tells a story, you know. My sort of ignorant and kind of arrogant belief was like songs with stories it's better to read a book. And I've always, like I said, wrote from an I-me perspective, but that needs to be challenged. So that's what this week's challenge is, to write a narrative and tell a story through songs. Maybe like, what's that song? Streets of London by Ralph McTell. That's probably a narrative song. You can Google narrative songwriting and get some more ideas of songs, and link or comment on this video and tell me some examples you come up with. I mean, arguably, Stand by Eminem is a good example of a modern narrative song. To some extent, Bohemian Rhapsody, I'd say, is a narrative song. Someone's just killed someone and they're going to their mother to express their feelings about it. So, you know, that's the kind of challenge this week. A narrative song, a story in a song, either made up story or a story you've heard. So there you go, and please subscribe I really look forward to hearing what you come up with. Lots of love.